We discovered them.
Okay.
We discovered them.
Okay.
We discovered each other actually.
I think they discovered us, then we discovered our freedom.
No, we
with them.
discovered them for ourselves. Different than Tarantino is, Tarantino gets to pick songs that exist.
Correct. These are
For us, we have to get it composed.
Yeah.
It's like this, man. If we start catering to demands per se, we will sort of lose our originality.
Voices are changing. You don't always have to be a version of Kishore Kumar.
Right.
You know, you can be yourself and you will find an audience for yourself.
I took a break in Barcelona while we were shooting 2, and then I just took a break and I landed on that day in the airport. I saw in the front page, the bottom page, there's a whole familia, and I'm thinking, I'm calling somebody and saying, what does it say? It's got Manoj's picture on it and a whole thing about the family man.
RRR is not inherently so local that it goes global, like a Kantara, or like a Pater Pachali, or like all these films that have gone global before. Nor is it so international that it's meant for an international audience. It is your regular,
Commercial.
everyday commercial Telugu film.
So it feels very proud. But then again, I don't think MM Cream sir would have worried about winning an Oscar while making Natu Natu.
Obviously,
You can't,
yes.
those two things can't happen like that, I just feel while making, you got to be true to that side. And not every day can you make something that will become popular.
Okay, in my opinion, I don't think Telugu or Kannada filmmakers or Tamil filmmakers have started doing anything differently now than they used to before. It's just that the rest of the nation has started watching them now and suddenly realizing, wow, this is some new content we've never seen before. But for us, we've been watching it.
Hello everyone, welcome to News 18. We have with us the hit machines, Raj and DK, Sachin-Jigar. Thank you so much for joining us. First of all, I'd like to know a bit about the collaboration that you've had. I think it was in 2011 that you worked together first for Show in the City. It's been more than a decade now. So I don't think it's right to say who discovered whom, but how did you meet? How did that happen?
We discovered them.
Okay.
We discovered them.
Okay.
We discovered each other actually.
I think they discovered us, then we discovered our freedom.
We
with them.
discovered them for ourselves.
Right. And how has it been, the creative freedoms, and how is the process like? Is it chill and...
Yeah, it's very open. I mean, there's a brief, of course, but even that brief is very funny and light-hearted, and there's no pressure really, which is the key. I think we trust each other by now. Like you said, it's a decade. I never thought about it like that. But yeah, it's quite lucid between us.
Right.
It's more of, I think we don't go to them and say, I want a hit song. That's all. That is the only one description we don't use.
That is,
Thank God.
yeah. It's always let's make a good song. Let's try and undo what we have done.
Or perhaps what else can we do with a script like this? Like that I think is the mojo, to be able to do something so unique for a script that it becomes like almost like a following, like a cult.
Correct. To the filmmakers, I remember reading an interview that Quentin Tarantino had done, and he'd said that before he makes the film, he finalizes the tracks that are in the song. And I always found that interesting because I've always seen that kind of quirk and mischief in your filmmaking. How does music feature into your filmmaking process? When does it come? How do you do that?
Some of it, like we write our screenplays very lucidly. Like it's almost every single beat is there. We even go up to the fact that when does an actor pause?
Right.
We write that detailedly. We know when the cut is, when the intercut is. So the editors used to actually keep our script.
Right.
And kind of when we used to ask initially, do you want me to come? We said no. All the edit is in the screenplay. So we shoot to edit, I think. So we know what the edits are, this, that. We do have all kinds of descriptions for music, especially background score. So we usually have an intriguing music, starts here, or pulsating, picks up. We even say this is where the song picks up and it dwells and stuff.
And also what kind of a song also we end up writing sometimes, the genre of the song, or the energy of the song, or the mood of the song.
Music,
the difference in Tarantino is, Tarantino gets to pick songs that exist.
Correct. These are
For us, we have to get it composed.
Yeah.
So we don't write a song, we write music in.
Right.
And also we don't usually have a lip sync songs as much. I don't think we've done enough of that. So it's not like we write she starts singing. We've never done that before.
Yeah.
So the music comes after the edit usually. I mean, we've done all kinds actually, before and after. But it's the mood
Right.
of that show, mood of the film, mood of that series is what dictates the songs that we'd like for that particular song.
Correct.
Like Goa Go, I remember there was a brief. Not a brief actually. There was a little 10-minute narration,
Right.
and some songs came before the shoot, some didn't. But with series now, it's become even more easy
Right.
because while they were doing Farzi, we came and saw a couple of episodes, and then I think it just becomes more easy because you're seeing what's there, you know.
Right.
Yeah, you see the world, you get a sense of what the soundscape could be.
In this era of social media where there are likes and dislikes and comments on every other thing, your music can be used for reels. Does that play in your mind while you're making music?
Honestly, the shorter attention span or the shorter use of the music has never really changed how music is made. You still make a 5-minute song and let them choose the 15 seconds they like. See, it's like this, man. If we start catering to demands per se, we will sort of lose our originality.
Right.
You still have a character you're making a song for. You still got a script. You still got a director. He's got a vision. And I think we basically come from theatre.
Right.
If we ever lose our focus on the script, perhaps I don't know. You know, in fact, that is the thing. Now that we've started making independent music, sometimes I ask Jigar, who are we making the song for? Like, you suddenly lose. Maybe our orientation is such that in social media, we feel happy if the music is trending or people using it for reels. Like Paisa Hai To has become quite popular there. It's great to find whatever success, man. We're just making these songs for people after all.
Now there are more avenues for independent artists as well, right? So it's a bit of you can get inspired by someone who's just come into the scene.
Absolutely.
So how does that work? I mean,
That's great. I think it's absolutely. I think it's so liberal and so great that anyone today can just surface and show and show their talent. And I also think everyone who's deserving is getting their avenues to perform and to. So it's a world. It's the same thing for actors. Like with series, I think a lot has opened up for actors. Anyone who thought that, hey, I need to look like a Greek god to become a lead, I think now with times those things are changing. Similarly, voices are changing. You don't always have to be a version of Kishore Kumar.
Right.
You can be yourself and you will find an audience for yourself.
I remember in 2018, I think it was when Sacred Games released, and there was all this talk about how Indian content might finally get that platform. An OTT show would be watched in Brazil, it would be watched in China, of course China, I suppose it's banned, in Korea and America. Has that happened to Indian shows? Because I think everyone thought that the reach would be like, I suppose, what the Korean dramas have now these days. Has that happened for India yet? Do you feel that has happened for OTT?
I think it is happening. We have seen even The Family Man, for example. Like when I took a break in Barcelona while we were shooting 2, and then I just took a break and I landed on that day in the airport. I saw in the front page, the bottom page, there's a whole Familia, and I'm thinking, I'm calling somebody and saying, what does it say? It's got Manoj's picture on it and a whole thing about The Family Man. And so I thought it's pretty cool that we didn't even push it. It's there.
Right.
In fact, The Family Man season 1 we showed the first 2 episodes premiered in LA, because we didn't make it for the international audience. It's not like we wanted to make it for them, but the fact that you make something good and local and authentic, it kind of find its way, and after that it picks up, it get pushed. But yes, I'm still waiting for a really global hit.
From Indian cinema, and the achievement of RRR at the Oscars is a testimony to that.
Of course.
For the first time, a regular commercial Indian film gets. Lagan was nominated, but as a best international feature film. But here, a song wins it from an Indian film, and this is not like a special international film made for international audiences. It was a proper Telugu film made, which is a super hit within India that goes international. So I think it's a start of a trend. There have always been trends in the world. There was a time about 20 years ago when Chinese cinema was capturing the imagination of the world. right, with Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan or
Ang Lee films.
there was a
Even
China
Crouching Tiger.
Crouching
right?
Tiger, of course, Ang Lee and everything. All these happened. Then it was a time of Korean cinema and K-dramas and K-pop and even Squid Game.
Right.
So I think now the next few years will show how Indian cinema or Indian series and Indian content is able to reach to the world.
When you make content, there's a cultural element to it that people expect you to have when the film or OTT show goes global, because the Americans tend to look at an Indian film and say, oh, this is their culture. And when you are making a content for an urban space, that kind of fiddles a bit. Do you see that happening? Does that play in your head that there has to be something Indian in it? Of course, the story is Indian, the people are
I
Indian.
think every story is different, right? That is exactly why I brought up the example of RRR.
Right.
RRR is not inherently so local that it goes global, like a Kantara or like a Pater Panchali or like all these films that have gone global before. Nor is it so international that it's meant for an international audience. It is your regular
Commercial.
everyday commercial Telugu film, which is why I'm saying this is the start of a new era. How a regular commercial film can travel so far. It's the start of a new trend that has never happened before.
I think it's crafted so well, made so well, that I don't think it matters, from what he's saying, that it doesn't matter if it's very local or even urban or mid-ground. If it's a well-made film, well-told story, it's finding its place.
Right.
So
And for the music, of course, Natu Natu won the Academy Award. So does that play in your mind that I can go global with it? Does that come to your head, or do you stay original?
Yeah, listen, actually, honestly speaking, it's a great achievement, and we are big fans of Cream sir, so it feels very proud. But then again, I don't think Cream sir would have worried about winning an Oscar while making Natu Natu.
Obviously,
you can't.
yes.
Those two things can't happen like that. I just feel while making, you got to be true to that side. And not every day can you make something that will become popular. You got to accept that as a maker, that sometimes you will be successful, sometimes you will not be that popular or successful. So I guess I just feel, I'll tell you in short that somehow the originality of it has always excited us.
At least for the two of us, I think it's always about making the song that we both are proud of. Nothing goes out of the studio.
And the team, like let's say, the director, the producer, these are our immediate bounce boards. Very well you can gauge that, okay, they've liked it or not liked it. And if they've liked it, they're going to be able to represent it with conviction on screen. So I think that much.
I mean, that is the maximum we can do. That at least the four of us are very sure about what we've made. We are extremely proud of what we've made. And we know that we are never going to sit back and say, hey, that's a wrong song, we shouldn't have made that. As far as we are good with that, it's fine. I think then it's up to the song to do its bit.
Correct. I've noticed in your films and in your OTT shows, these are really good, Bombay shows, Mumbai films. They get the pulse of the city, the common man. Talk to me a bit about the city as your muse. How do you see that?
We're not from Mumbai.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's outsider's gaze.
It's the outsider's gaze. When we came in, we fell in love with the city. So our biggest love song was "Shore in the City," where it captured the city. I tell people the story. How did we come up with an idea? We're sitting at the traffic signal, and we are in an auto, and it's an extremely crowded, noisy signal, of course. And there is a couple that's fighting in a bike, where she has put her dupatta around, but they're really having a lover's quarrel on this middle of noisy thing. On this side was a Merc, and there's a guy sitting there working on his laptop or something, completely cut off from this, in a good AC, happy, good suit, and working on it. And we could see three stratas that are right next to each other. And that is
and there are kids selling pirated books on the road.
There's
Literally
so much. Everything
you see in the film can be encapsulated in one traffic signal.
One photo or one video of that really did everything. You could put in Ganesha festival, and you could have a Ganpati being brought home, the back seat with a belt on. So you have so much quirk and life, so much life happening in the city that captured it. So everything was looking beautiful, everything was looking amazing in terms of, everything was photo worthy in that sense. So yes, from then it's played a very important role. It becomes a character for most of the time for us, the city.
As
And-
much as the city, I think also we tend to look at the regular middle class person.
Right.
That's become our, like somehow that's the natural milieu that we lean towards. Like all our heroes, be it in Bombay, be it in a small town, are middle class people.
Right.
So that seems like that's also the, like I say, that's also the strata of society that we've come from. So we're most familiar with the kind of conversations you have in your families.
Yeah.
We could be from a different part of the country, but I think to a large extent we are all similar in that sense.
Right.
All our families behave the same way. All the pressure on a girl when she's turning 25, pressure to get married is the same, or on the guy to get a job.
Right. Is it the same for composers as well? I suppose the city acts as a muse for you as well?
For us, I think the script acts as a muse.
Ah.
And if the script is set in a particular city, I think it's very important for us to be able to depict it. Yeah. But with most of Raj DK's film, other than Happy Ending, I think we've always been in Bombay and Goa.
The initial bits of Go Go Gone
Except
are
Go
there.
Go Gone.
Go Go Gone.
It also starts off in Bombay.
Bombay
and
then
goes
goes to Goa. So characters essentially from here.
Right.
But other than that, I think But for musicians, I think our main muse is the script, and I think that's our start off board.
It's hard to ignore the conversation. It was even brought into news channels, and it was initially restricted to social media that Hindi cinema is unable to perform the way it did in the last few years. There was this interview of Bill Gates that he was talking about. I suppose he was talking about the developmental issues, and he was talking about how in India there is competition between different states, and they compete with each other to come out on top. I suppose it's happening with film industries in India as well, and it's a good thing, I suppose. How do you see that?
I don't know if they're competing with each other. It's just that, Telugu cinema has always been around.
Right.
Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, they've always been around. And I mean, most Telugu people love Telugu cinema. They watch Telugu, us included. I mean, we die for our cinema, right? It's just that lately with, say, the evolution of OTT, and also during the pandemic, once people started getting exposed to, like suddenly you turn on your Netflix or Amazon and you start seeing Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam films, you start watching them.
Right.
So I think people are watching them now. I don't, in my opinion, I don't think Telugu or Kannada filmmakers or Tamil filmmakers have started doing anything differently now than they used to before. It's just that the rest of the nation has started watching them now and suddenly realizing, wow, this is some new content we've never seen before. But for us, we've been watching it from before.
I think there's a bit of I think television has also contributed to it, right? Because I remember from I think 2012 or something, all these channels started airing the dubbed versions.
Yes.
I remember watching
Of course,
Prabhas's
yeah.
films.
Oh yeah. There's an entire subculture of people who are watching the Hindi dubbed versions of Telugu
Right,
and Tamil,
right.
Kannada, Malayalam
Even
films.
YouTube, right?
Correct,
There's tons
There are a lot of dubbed
Yeah, yeah,
versions,
yeah.
and then it caught on, and
Yeah,
people
it largely
started.
skipped the urban audience,
Right.
though, but so if you're living in a shell in Bombay, you'll never know about
Right.
this. But yes, when I do travel to other smaller towns, I do notice people, they know all their Telugu, all the names of the Telugu actors.
Yeah.
They know them, and I'm like, how do you know? And they're like, yeah, we watched this film, and they'll say a name in Hindi.
Right.
So I'll have to translate it and see what it was
Right.
in Telugu.
Right.
So that culture also started existing.
Correct.
It just became more accessible now, nationwide,
I think that's
even to the urban population.
In simple terms, there's more cinema to watch in India now than earlier because of the accessibility.
Music, it started way before, I think, the transition. Music started way before. There was no language barriers. Everyone listened to everything.
Absolutely.
And
I think Ilayaraja sir is a living example of that.
Right.
That students around the world learn his lessons. So I think also, man, I'll tell you, we as musicians, it was easier to, let's say, hire a orchestra from Chennai to record our songs, or to go to Chandigarh and get some musicians to play dhol and tumbi. So I think somewhere it was slightly more lucid for us, but I think it started hitting us as musicians when, like, let's say Spanish songs became popular here.
right.
Like my kid now sings Korean songs as if that is
That's crazy, man. Do you know? Do you understand Korean?
no, I do not. And she sings it as if it is her first language. And I always, whenever I leave home, I try to wish her in Gujarati so that my fear is that I hope she doesn't forget that she's a Gujarati, you know. So somewhere that actually has started to hit us a little predominantly, that, you know, that if a foreign language can work, maybe our languages can work globally too.
Right.
Because it's become an example. If my daughter can pick up Korean that much, my wife started to learn Korean as a language because she loves K-drama that much. So if I think the influence was always there, that cinema, that you watch a film and you stay in the hangover for 3 days, that was always there. But these are longer formats. They have almost seeped into the blood system, I feel.
Right.
And you know, like with Rahman sir, actually, that whole South Indian songs started becoming actually popular with the Hindi speaking audience.
Right.
And you know, that's when we realized that these are all songs, and similar thing needs to happen with the films.
It's his very first
competing.
composition. I suppose with Roja itself, it started.
That's what I'm
Yes,
saying.
absolutely.
So, similar thing with the films. There are films, there's someone who's making a film, watch it. There's no competition. It's
Yeah, and if you see, like a whole generation was inspired by Rahman sir. And Ajay Atul did that for Marathi.
Right.
And we took that inspiration and started doing that for Gujarati. So definitely, I think we are all, in not competing will be the wrong word. I think we're getting inspired by each other.
Right. I mean, I'm sorry to say, but before the comment section berates me, I'll have to ask what's happening with Goa Gone 2. And
the music is ready.
right.
Let's see which film we use it in.
We've made it. We've all heard it. We've decided. But yes, I mean,
It's been, how long has it been? 8 years?
Yes.
more,
Yeah.
2015.
10 years.
10 years.
Almost 10 years. So
It'll be 10
I'm,
years of Go Go Gone soon.
I'm glad that it's still remembered. It's become a cult, and I don't know if there's so many. I don't know of films that 10 years later you want a part 2 to it. So I'm happy about it, and I'm thinking maybe we should just leave it the way it is sometimes. And sometimes we think maybe we should make a sequel. So we're still in that quandary.
But they have a script to which the songs have been made.
I've always found you casting Saif Ali Khan as very inspired, because he seems to be having fun with his characters that he plays with Lal Kaptan and with Kala Kandi and even Happy Ending. He really seems to enjoy doing these roles that don't have a baggage and people don't expect certain things out of
No,
him.
I told Saif too that he excels when he has a persona. When you give him a new persona, he revels in it. I haven't seen that much. So I told him too, do you realize it? He said, wow, really? I never thought of that. I said, no, given a persona, you just kill it.
Final question, is the Coen brothers comparison a bit too soon? Is it a bit too soon for you too?
No, we love Coen Brothers cinema. He's one of our favorite
Yeah, they're our
directors.
favorite filmmakers. And
They
forever
stood.
they'll be making great films.
They have their signature. With so much going on in Hollywood, they kind of stood and stuck to their kind of cinema.
Correct.
So no, I love it. At the end of it, you know, any comparisons to any great filmmakers, I'll take it as inspiration, and try to get better with every film we make.
Right. That'll be all. Thank you so much.
you so much.
Thank you. Hi, this is Raj.
Hi, this is DK.
Hi, this is Jigar.
Hi, this is Sachin, and you're watching us on News 18 Showsha. Like, share, and subscribe.
Cheers.